Pets. Their relationship is special as every other kind of relationship. They give you affection and attention as long as you give them food, water, and treat them well. I love having pets, if I'm gonna be honest with you. It's nice to have someone with you at times when you feel lonely. However, today I want to talk to you about cats. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. I've always been more of a cat person rather than a dog person. Don't get me wrong, dogs are loving and are great to have around, but sometimes they're too much when you're busy doing other things. Cats, on the other hand, thankfully know their boundaries and don't require me to give them attention every 5 seconds. However, today we're not here to look at my pets. We're here to look at virtual pets. Now, there are tons of virtual pet games that are well known. Nintendogs is one of the most well known, which is a game that sold over 23 million copies worldwide. Now, that's a virtual pet game that's centered around dogs. I mean, it's in the name, Nintendogs. But what about virtual pet games that are about cats? Come on, 58 million people in the US own cats. It's not like owning a cat is some exotic pet. It's fairly common to see somebody who owns a cat. So are these virtual pet games about cats, you ask? Well, not to worry. I found a few of these kind of games, and I'm going to talk about a few of them in this video. Our first game is one titled Cats. It is created by Ubisoft on December 5th, 2006, so as much as I want to play the song that plays in the title screen, I have a feeling that it's copyrighted, so that's going to be a problem. To me, it sounds like the song My House by Flo Rida, but replace everything with a bunch of meows. It's a shame that I can't play the music, because with the exception of that one song in the title screen, this game has no music at all. All you hear is a bunch of sound effects and this eerie silence. So you can pick from 5 different cat breeds, and there's 3 cats from those cats that you can pick from. I picked this blonde looking ragdoll cat. The text implies that she's an alien, which is the reason why I got her. So anyways, you pet this cat for a few seconds, and then you're forced to play this minigame where you select pictures of cats before you're allowed to adopt it. Once you play through that minigame, you're allowed to pick a name for the cat. After that, I have to agree to some terms about owning this cat. This game gives you this lengthy tutorial about what the buttons on the top of the bottom screen do. It shows you what buttons you need to do, things like take a picture. It'll tell you how coins with the Z work. It'll show you what symbol corresponds to what need for the cat, and what all the buttons in the option menu means. After going through all of that, we can finally take care of the cat. As you can see on the top of the screen, oh wait, I gotta take this phone call. Oh, I adopted the cat, that's cool. So anyway, as you can see on the top of the screen, this game has a clock. Now this clock goes in real time. So you're mostly just doing what you would do when you're taking care of an actual cat. Feeding it, giving it water, and playing with it. However, even if you do play with it, all you're doing is just grabbing the toy and then just chucking it around for the cat to play with. And there's only 3 toys from what it looks like. Even this little mouse that I bought for the cat, you're just chucking around. Another thing that bugs me about this game is that you have to manually save since there's no autosave. Which doesn't sound so bad, but this game came out in 2006. Which at this point, having a game autosave is a normal thing. Maybe I'm complaining too much. What is there to do? Well, you can give the cat food and water, like I said, and then have to wait for the cat to decide when to eat, which is accurate, but what isn't as accurate is that the cat actually eats all the food. There isn't a big hole that's in the center where the cat thinks it's empty, but when there's still plenty of food in the bowl. Nah, I'm just joking with that one. What I'm not joking about is that the cat's purring noises are actually pretty adorable. I can listen to that all day. Also, the cat's sleeping noises are cute. Yeah, I know I'm a dude and I use the word cute and adorable, but how else am I supposed to describe it? Anyway, aside from those basic things, as well as the occasional cleaning of the litter box, there isn't too much to do. During my recording, I got to one mission where this dude wanted me to take a picture of his cat in a house that looks way more interesting than mine, and I got some coins with a Z for doing that, but that's the only interesting thing that happened. Maybe this game is way more fun when you invested time into it, but honestly, I don't have the patience to play that much of it. Maybe the sequel will provide a more engaging experience for me. So here we have the sequel, Pets with the Z, Cats with the Z 2. This game came out in 2008, or 2 years after the first game. So right off the bat, this game is automatically better than the first game since there's actual music past the title screen of the game. So the format of picking the cat is exactly like the first game, but now it's not all displayed in one single screen. You gotta use the arrows in the bottom screen to see all the cat breeds that this game has. Unfortunately, we have unlockable cat breeds, which is good since it gives more of an incentive to play this game, other than just to take care of the cat, but it's also bad because we don't have every cat breed right from the get-go. So once we pick a cat breed, we again have 3 different cats to pick from. I picked this Ossa cat that has gray stripes. However, I misread the name of this breed and I thought it said Ocelot, so I was interested to put some wild cat inside of my house. I mean, it makes sense to have a cat breed that would realistically be inside of a house, but it would have been pretty funny just to have a wild cat roaming around. Me being bad at reading aside, let's get into adopting this cat. Thankfully, you're not playing some stupid minigame where you're selecting pictures of cats to adopt it like in the first game. You're instead constantly petting the cat until the cat likes you. Afterwards, you sign a certificate saying that you own this cat. I put a little heart in there because why not? There's another screen that gives you a tutorial on how to play the game, and then you're sent to take care of the cat. I love the fact that we're now in a 3D environment instead of some isometric angle that was present in the first game. It really makes the house look more like an actual house. The game is also running on a real-time clock, so you're doing the exact same thing that you do in the first game, which is feeding and playing with the cat. You also get achievements for this game. Some are very easy, just like petting the cat for a bit, while others are more challenging, like the one where you clean the litter box in the span of a minute after the cat's done pooping in it. I didn't play very much this game to see every achievement, but the challenge has been shown to get slowly harder as you get more and more achievements. Not sure if it gets to the point of being impossible, so don't take my word for it in case there's some borderline impossible challenges around the end of the achievements. There's some more toys for this game compared to the first game. One of them is a laser pointer where you drag around the screen to have the cat chase it. There's this cute looking tiger plush toy, and thankfully a string for the cat to chase. Another thing is that there's this thing called this playroom. I was told that you're supposed to collect all 8 coins with a Z to complete this tutorial playroom, but when I did, I didn't get any other kind of playroom. When they said tutorial playroom, I honestly thought there was supposed to be more playrooms, but I guess collecting all 8 coins with a Z wasn't what I was supposed to do. So you know what? I don't care that I may have done something wrong, but I don't feel like looking it up. And trust me, I do not want to put how to get the other playrooms and cats with the Z2 in my search history. The playroom also tells you that you can tap on the bottom of the screen to get the cat to follow you where you're tapping. It works, but honestly, it's just funny to see the cat make a big leap onto what seems to be a scratching post. Another strange thing I should mention is that once you collect all the coins with the Z in the playroom, they don't respawn. I understand them not respawning immediately, but when I come back to this game the next day, I would expect them to show up again. Yeah, it's pretty bizarre, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But I guess me not knowing what to do and the playrooms and cats with the Z2 go hand in hand. Is there anything else to mention in this game? Well, the cat thankfully purrs when you pet it again, so that's great. Unfortunately, there's no bed for the cat to sleep in like in the first game, so I won't hear the cat sleep and make noises. If you have to play one of the 2 games in the Cats with the Z series, Cats with the Z2 is the one that I recommend that you check out. So for our next game, we first have to take a trip to Japan, because the game that we'll be playing is called Nakayoshi Pet Series 4 Kawaii Koneko, or in English, Kawaii Koneko means cute kitten. So anyway, the first question that you may ask is why did I jump straight to the 4th game? Because the first game is about hamsters, the second game is about rabbits, and the third game is about dogs. Since the 4th game is about cats, and I'm playing games about cats, I'm playing the game about cats. So anyway, I don't speak nor understand Japanese, so I'm going to try my best to explain the story of this game. So it seems like this random blue-haired lady wants to give you her cat. She's giving you this cat for 10 days, and you're allowed to name this cat. So with that short story out of the way, I'm naming this cat this one random symbol from the Japanese alphabet. It probably means something, but I honestly don't care enough to give this cat a proper name. So anyway, the game's controls are as basic as you think a game with only a control pad and 2 buttons would control. Using left and right or up and down to move the cursor, then you press A to activate the thing that you're selecting, and press B to exit out of the menu while you're selecting something. You're doing the same general things that you would do when taking care of an actual cat. You're feeding the cat food and giving the cat water, or milk if you want it to. But you probably shouldn't since actual cats are lactose intolerant, which would probably kill them. Yeah, it basically means I'm giving the cat cyanide. But hey, the cat likes it, so it should be okay, right? I'll move on. You clean the cat's litter box and his bed. You can also open and close this door. It almost does nothing. Leaving the door open will cause the cat to escape sometimes, but the cat always ends up fine anyway, so it's just more things to look at. And truth be told, due to my lack of knowledge of Japanese, I'll need to look at things to take a guess of what's going on. Here's an example. This cat is looking at a gang of cats and then everyone decides to headbutt each other. Yeah, you can tell I don't know what's going on. But feeding and giving the cat something to drink isn't the only things that you can do. You can actually interact with the cat. You can do things like pet, hold, and yell at the cat, I think. You can also play with the cat. My personal favorite is a string toy since it makes a cat jump around like he's a frog. Only problem is that you need to mash A or B, or both if you really want to move the thing back and forth for maximum funny cat jumping. You can also do nothing and have the cat just wander around. Like when he's wandering, he just walks, sleeps, and poops. Like he actually poops for you to watch and then buries the poop. Yes, I know there's a litter box and all, but I'm honestly surprised that there's an animation where the cat takes a dump. I thought you just see the poop and then scoop it up, but no, you can take a look at it. Okay, enough about feces, let's move on. So anyway, after the 10 days are over, the blue-haired lady comes back and you can either continue with the cat that you have or get a new cat. I chose this other cat and you basically start all over from the beginning. And this cat unfortunately isn't as playful as the first one, and it took a while for the cat to play with the string. However, you're basically doing the same thing. Feeding the cat, giving the cat something to drink, bathe it, watch it go outside, have a cutscene play with text I can't read, watch it poop, and try to pet the cat. So yeah, I honestly don't have much to say say, I feel like I've seen everything there is to this game. Only other thing to mention is this gallery that just shows the images of the things that happen in the game. There's also the stats for the cats that remind me of the menu when you select a Pokemon. Some kind of link cable compatibility, and you can save with the cat doing this thing in front of a crystal ball. I'd pay him to tell my fortunes. So, I have nothing left to say. It's a game that exists, and I do think it is interesting to see a game like this exist on the Game Boy Color. However, there's another game from this series that I want to look at for this video, and it's going to be for a console that makes a little bit more sense for a virtual pet game. This is the only game that I'm playing for this video that actually says the name of the game in the game. So this game is known as Kawaii Koneko DS, and this game came out in 2008. Yeah, this and Cats with the Z2 came out in the same year, which means 2008 was the year for fans of virtual pet games about cats. Well, right off the bat, I will say that this game is very colorful. Like, so colorful that I think if you stare at the game long enough and look away, you'd still see the game. So we start off the game with customizing the owner for our cat. And then afterwards, we do what I assume to be a personality test. It's all in Japanese, so I'm just going to pick whatever the options are on the top. So after doing that, the owner's parents decided the owner should have a cat, and so they forced him to go to his pet store and select from 3 random cats. I got this black and white looking cat because it looks cute. So then you're supposed to pick up the cat and give it to the owner of the pet store. Now, I'm not too familiar with Japanese culture, but I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to get a random cat from the floor and give it to the pet shop worker and tell him that you want it. Pet stores have these animals caged up, and the pet store worker is supposed to give the person who wants to own the cat, not the other way around. Moving on, we then have to purchase a specific color of bed, litter box, and a collar. At least I think that's a collar. If it's not a collar, then why is there what looks like to be holes that you can use to tie in the cat with the collar? So after all of that, some random guy with purple hair, because characters with wacky colors of hair seem to be normal for the series, tries to talk to you. I hope that kid knows this dude, otherwise I wouldn't be surprised if he walked into some white van. After that, we get to see the cat get out of its kennel and into the house. Afterwards, this game weirdly doesn't have a real-time clock. It instead has an in-game timer that is used to progress throughout the story. This is less of a virtual pet game and more of some kind of adventure game that you just so happen to take care of a cat. But honestly, I find it really funny that there is an in-game timer, since it shows that this kid takes 5 minutes to get into a different room. I get what they were going for, having some kind of way for the in-game clock to go, but who in their right mind would take 5 minutes just to get into a different room? I may be overlooking this. However, one thing I'm not overlooking is that you can call your cat to come over to you, but it's not how you think it would control. So you need to press both the right trigger and blow into the mic to call your cat. You can't just blow into the mic, you can't just press the right trigger, you need to do both at the same time or else it won't work at all. Thankfully, there's no specific window into getting it to work. You just need to blow into the mic while you just so happen to be holding the right trigger. However, for this game, there's more than just taking care of the cat. You can actually explore the house. You can turn on and off this TV that just so happens to be in the living room. You can also read this book that I assume gives you tips. Again, since I can't speak Japanese, I can't tell you if the tips are useful or not. One thing that is a little baffling is that you can't explore the entire house right away. For example, you can't go outside to the backyard when you first start the game. I understand the mom restricting the cat, but why is she doing the same thing to the son? One thing that does bug me is that the objectives that I have to do in this game aren't very clear on what to do. There isn't an arrow or anything to guide me, you just need to be able to read Japanese to understand what to do. You can also go to your bedroom, which is a place that allows you to save by sitting on your desk. However, it's also used to be able to sleep, but you can only fall asleep once it's 20:30 or 8:30 p.m. Nothing wrong with this kid that goes to school going to bed at 8:30, but it kind of sucks that I can't sleep earlier than that. I just want to fall asleep at a comically early time. Like, let me sleep at 4 in the afternoon or something, because that would be really funny. Yeah, at this point, I'm just nitpicking, so I'll move on. So anyways, to do things like feed the cat, you gotta walk into the kitchen, and then proceed to drag the food into the bowl, and watch as the cat eats the food. You can play with the cat. I got this string looking thing and then proceed to fling it around. To be honest, for the cat to do anything, you're going to be walking to get the thing done instead of moving the cursor to the thing that you want to do with the cat like in the Game Boy Color game. So anyway, on day 3, you're actually allowed to explore outside the house. But to be honest, it's pretty empty. I mean, there's this whole park that you can walk around in, which I assume is important, but I don't know how it's important. There's also a bunch of stray cats wandering around, and you unfortunately cannot pet them at all, which is super disappointing. There's 3 meters on the right of the screen. I know one of them is for affection, but what about the other 2? Well, from what I can gather, one of these is for hunger, which makes sense, but the other is just some kind of meter for a house. Not sure how that meter goes up or down, so I can't answer that question. One thing that I find to be cute is that whenever you select an option on the menu to save or not save, the cat moves its little paws. It does this for every menu option, and not only that, it does a cute little meow. The last thing that I should mention is that you eventually get a camera in the game, and with this camera you can press the left trigger and the game will take a picture of what the game looked like while you press the button. With these pictures you get access to this gallery where you can just look at and or delete these pictures. This game seems like there's a lot to talk about, but unfortunately I didn't play that much this game, and there's one more game that I want to talk about for this video. Out of all the games that I played so far, this one has the most to talk about. The name of the game is Purr Pals on the Nintendo DS. So when you get to the title screen, it has this super happy music with a cat running around chasing a butterfly. The title screen is nice to look at, but we haven't begun complaining yet. The problem arises once you press on Select a Kitten. What is that font? Everything looks like a blob as well as the words are too close together. Is that supposed to say Berlinese or Borlinese? Or how about this one? Is that supposed to say Turkish van or Turkish yan? Or how about this one? Is this supposed to say Persian or Persian? Man, being able to read the font? Why would that be necessary? I love squinting my eyes to attempt to read everything. It's not like you should have a font that is easy to read. Alright, let's just ignore the font and talk about something else. Honestly, I'm impressed with how many cap rates this game has. This game has way more cap rates compared to every other game that I've played for this video. But that's not all. You can have up to 5 cats in this game. You need to have the funds to be able to purchase one, but it's a thought that counts. Anyways, I noticed that this game has a Bombay cat, and my cat Joey is a Bombay as well. So I'm gonna pick a Bombay to make this a little more personal. However, I don't want to make this too personal, so I'll name this cat Knight. Actually, before we talk about the gameplay, I'm also impressed with the customization on the cat itself. You can choose its gender, the color of the whiskers for the cat, the eye color, how dark the fur is gonna be. It's impressive. But once you get to adopting, you'll begin to notice something with this text. Hi there, my name is Victoria, your Purina Kitten Chow mentor. And if you're a cat owner, you'll automatically notice something when they mention Purina in this game. For those who aren't cat owners, let me explain it to you. Purina is a brand that specializes in making cat food. They also make dog food, but this video isn't about dogs. Anyway, Purina happens to make very common cat food that you'll see in places like Target. 2 of their most well-known brands are Fancy Feast and Friskies. What's the point of mentioning this, you ask? It's because there's a bunch of Purina branding in this game. The food bowl is Purina, the food that you give the kitten is Purina food, you can buy a Purina collar for the cat. So what I'm trying to tell you is that this game is nothing more than an advertisement for Purina cat food. Just to let you know, I have no problems with Purina, but the fact that this game is an advertisement for Purina disguised as a video game automatically makes this game more interesting to look at compared to the other games that I played for this video. So anyway, you're doing what you're doing in every other virtual pet game, that being feeding the cat, playing with it, and cleaning its poop. However, they managed to screw up everything except for playing with the cat. When playing with the cat, I can just swipe the bottom screen and control this little string as much as I can and have the cat play with it. It looks weird, but the cat is having fun, so it's alright. There's also this butterfly that requires me to blow into the mic, but it looks like the cat is doing something near the litter box instead of actually trying to play with it. Speaking of litter boxes, cleaning the litter box is a pain to do. You're supposed to rub the screen where the poop is supposed to be, but it barely works. The only way for this to semi-work for me is if I rub the screen super fast back and forth, but the poop decides that it's clean whenever it feels like it. Also, I know this is a game for the DS, but you don't bury the poop under the litter to clean it. You just grab the pooper scooper and then pick it up. However, when you win, the cat constantly meows at you, like I cleaned up the litter and put a new bag inside. I don't know why this cat's complaining at me. Yes, I know this cat's trying to congratulate me, but I'm too used to my cats meowing at me because they're complaining about something. Speaking of cats meowing, the cats do meow a bit, but it's not too often, and at least the cat's meowing is pretty cute. However, let's talk about the most annoying thing to control in this game, which is simply feeding the cat. So the objective is simple. Give the cat the Purina branded hard food, but the task to do this thing is way harder than it should be. Remember in Kawaii Koneko DS that I mentioned that giving the cat food is as simple as dragging the food into the food bowl? Well, I wish it was that simple in this game. So first, you drag the specific type of Purina food that you want to give this cat out of this little menu on the side. So then what you do is have to jerk the bag up and down into the bowl to give the cat the food. But you're not allowed to just give some of it. You have to give the entire bag. And you just keep going until the game decides you put enough into the bowl. This control scheme is so unnecessary when you should just be able to drag the food into the bowl. Anyways, we just talked about feed, play, and litter. So let's talk about the other 3 things. Love is just you petting the cat and having it purr, which is cute. Groom is doing the exact same thing that you did for love, but with a time limit. And with extras, oh boy, we have a lot to talk about with the extras. So before you go to extras, like Cats with a Z and Cats with a Z2, this game runs on a real-time clock. So one of the things that appears in extras is a Purina branded cat show that you need to register to go in a day in advance. The cat show is used to grade the health of your cats, and if you win, you get money, and if you lose, you get nothing. I should also mention that in order to go into one of these cat shows, you need to spend money. But what else can you spend money on, you ask? Well, there's a whole bunch of shops where you can buy cat food, toys, litter, water bowls, and beds. But with so much money to spend, how do you earn this money, you ask? Well, you can try to win a cat show just like I mentioned, but you can also earn money by playing games. Yeah, and these games just kind of exist. The best game in this whole thing is a rhythm game where a bunch of cats meow to random songs from the public domain. I like it mostly because it's easy to play and you're able to consistently earn a bunch of money. Another one of these games is just a generic Simon Says game, but the cat just moving around this tube thing and meowing. We also have this bow and arrow game where you shoot the hearts, and truth be told, it's super hard to control. You're supposed to use a stylus to flick the arrows at the hearts, but either the hearts move so fast or the arrow goes so slow that it's a nightmare to control. Thankfully, you can just use a control pad and press A to shoot, which turns a game that's frustrating to play to just being a generic shooter that just so happens to have two cats looking at the night sky while hearts are flying up. I want to mention that there's another song that plays while you're playing this entire mini game that sounds nice, and the meowing isn't as bad as I thought it would be. However, now we have the worst game, which is shooting this basketball into a net. Flicking the ball to land into the net is so difficult and so precise on where to aim that it becomes frustrating to play. I was able to find the magic sweet spot, but the problem is that if you don't find the sweet spot, you'll pretty much miss it every single time. However, one question I have to ask is, what does this game have to do with cats? I mean, the cat's sitting there watching me throw balls, but he's not doing... I'm sorry, did I just see a cat do a slam dunk? Out of all the cats that I've owned in my life, I've never seen one slam dunk a ball into a basketball net. Man, this cat should not be competing in Purina branded cat shows. This cat should be playing for the team in the NBA. Because it's clear that you're never going to win in a basketball game against this cat who can slam dunk like that. Especially since this cat's able to jump onto the hoop, slam dunk it, and then immediately jump off of it like it was nothing. The point is that this cat is a master at basketball and the NBA is missing out on a star player. Moving on from cats being able to slam dunk, you're actually allowed to move the cat into 4 different locations around the house. They're the living room, the bathroom, the kitchen, and the garden. Moving the cat to these locations doesn't really change a thing. All it does is let the cat roam around freely in the area where it was dropped in. However, nothing's really changed. You're still cleaning the poop, feeding the cat, and brushing the cat in the same place that you did the last time. You're just letting the cat roam around in a slightly different background. Purr Pals is nothing more than a shameless advertisement for Purina cat food. It's a mess of a game, but it's an interesting mess to talk about. And you know what? This game has the most amount of customization for the cats compared to every other game that I talked about, which is one thing I will give the game respect for. So that's my stance on Purr Pals. A shameless advertisement that I respect for some reason. Wow, we just looked at 5 games in one video. Truth be told, going into this, I honestly thought there wasn't going to be a whole lot to talk about since they're all practically the same game. But as it turns out, there's more to talk about with these games than I thought. Even though I have an actual cat, I don't feel that these games are unnecessary since there's a good bunch of people who've never owned a pet. And these virtual pet games will give them the experience that taking care of an actual pet would provide. Truth be told, taking care of actual pets is expensive, so having these portable experiences of taking care of a pet is a nice little supplement. For those watching who have a pet, just know that no matter how much of a pain they are to take care of, just remember that your pets do care about you. As long as you take care of your pets, they will take care of you by giving you affection and attention. A relationship with a pet is just as important as any other relationship. My relationship with my cats throughout the years have given me a sense of happiness even during the lowest points in my life. My cats, to me, are a special relationship that always makes me feel like there's somebody in my life comforting me, even when I feel alone. And I wouldn't have it any other way.